Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another trading session. Well, I hope you're doing well. I hope your morning has started well as well. And yeah, we just had CPI release at 8:30 in the morning, New York local time. Yeah, it came to all-time highs here on ES as well on NQ. So all the buy side liquidity that we had on our left was taken, so price is in a discovery mode right now. Nothing is written in the charts on our left. So yeah, these are tough times to trade all-time highs, because we never know where price might eventually go. We have to take eventually some projections and see where the price is and where it might go. So that's how you play on at all-time highs. So right now, looking at the charts, we can see that Asia just expanded to the upside. These were, I think it was something about the tariffs on the Trump tariffs announcement here, right at 9:30 in the night. So we just pumped to the upside, making Asia expand its levels, and eventually we kind of accumulated during London. We already took London lows as well. So this sell side liquidity that was here was already taken prior to CPI. And what can we eventually expect from the market for the New York AM session? Well, whenever we have a profile like this, where Asia expands, London accumulates, we can eventually expect a continuation of the expansion from Asia. So I would like to see price continuing going higher. It seems like NQ already took CPI data highs, but at the same time, I would like to see price coming down a little bit, taking out some of these lows, the pre-market open lows, and then eventually take another run to the upside. But since NQ already took this high, and we formed some type of a SMT in between NQ and ES, so ES was able to take London lows, while NQ was not. So NQ just proceed to the upside. I believe that we will continue a little bit higher here, since we are in all-time highs. And if you want to short all-time highs, it's always difficult. It's always it's a hard job. It's a hard job to short all-time highs. So the longs should work until they stop. That's the main idea here. So whenever you see a setup that can eventually give you some bullish price action, or a long setup or a bullish setup, yeah, I advise you to take it, because on all time highs, that's how you play price. Um, it will continue to work until it stops. So um, whenever you are in some type of a all time high condition, looking for shorts, it's somehow of a low probability. They can eventually work. Um, they can eventually work because at some point the market will start to retrace. But yeah, it can be such a quick move to the downside that you're not able to take any profits, or to do your your proper risk management. So yeah, and it's prone to be chased also. So those movements, those retraces um are drawn, are made to be chased. So I believe that there's a lot of people trying to short right now, since we are at all-time highs, and it can eventually give us some big candles to the downside, inviting some more short sellers. But then the move higher will eventually continue. So that's how I'm seeing things right here. I would only consider eventually short positions below these London lows. So if price really holds here above this NWOG here, that you can see this shaded area, um, above 830 open, above the 15-minute fair value gap, I believe that we will still continue higher. Otherwise, if we somehow displaces lower, if we displace a little bit lower, and then we just um, displace below the NWOG, then I would eventually try to see anything here around this area. Otherwise, I believe that price will eventually continue a little bit higher. We can eventually expect some consolidation here as well, since ES is in between CPI data highs and data lows, and yeah, it may take some time before it decides where it wants to go. So I will probably wait for 950 to 1010, just to see if there's any setup being being formed in this time window, or or if something happens here at this time window. Just let me, yeah. So the market just opened. It's 9:30. So here we have the 9:30 open. So this is the 9:30 open. Price is really in a premium here, as you can see. So we are above 9:30 open, above 8:30 open, above midnight open as well. So I would like to see price coming down a little bit more, eventually taking some of these lows here. Um, let's see. Let me just check the regular trading hours. Yeah, we have a huge gap here in between the open from today's price action and the close from yesterday's price action. So this is our opening range gap. It would be nice to see it being filled 25% or eventually 50%, which would give us confluence with the 15-minute time frame fair value gap and this new week opening gap as well. So I will just put it a little bit to my right. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's too much. Okay. So yeah, price is trying to not even not even giving a chance to get into the opening range gap. Let's see if ES really wants to come right to CPI data highs, or if we will start to dig lower and eventually take out CPI data lows, and eventually give us something right here as an inversion, or if we will continue to the downside. So at this point, I would consider something like this for a continuation, or eventually something like this for a head lower. So these are eventually the plans for today's price action, but we have to keep in mind that this scenario is also something that it's on the table as well. So I would not like to play this price action, but yeah, it can eventually give us something like that as well. The price coming down seems like it wants to take the CPI data lows. At the top, we have a ASMT in between ES and NNQ. So this is the SMT that I'm talking about right now. ES was not able to go for CPI data lows, data highs. I mean, so that this was imagine that this was the Judas swing to the upside, since we stopped right at 25% of this wick here. It could eventually give us a confluence of minus standard or deviation for event horizon and the bottom of the opening range gap. So this is quite a strong confluence here, or a lower movement. But let's wait. Let's wait, because I want to see what price really wants to do first before taking any action here. So at this point, I will mark the first presented fair value gap. So I think it's this one. So 930 candle, 31, 32. Yes, that's it. So the first presented fair value gap is acting as a bearish one, which is still intact. Was not retested at all. Yeah, so far bearish PD areas are being respected here on ES and Q, not that clean. Prices tumbling down here, reaching for CPI data lows. And after reaching CPI data lows, I would like to see what type of reaction do we have here, if we will just follow through here, or if price wants to do something like this. That's my main question here. So CPI data lows are taken. So now let's see if we have some follow through here. At this point, we already met almost 50% of the opening range gap. Yeah, so far we had an opportunity here eventually until CPI data lows or 50% of the range. So yeah, this was a one-sided opening, and now let's see if there's any reaction here, since we already took 50% of the opening range gap. Let's see if we find support here at this NWOG, or if we will just continue down. So at this point, we already took London lows here. We have already taken it, but NQ was leaving it behind, and right now they are taken on NQ as well. So now I would like to see some type of reaction if we want to continue higher, or we might price may resist here coming to the upside and eventually um, continue lower. On the higher time frames, you can see that um, yeah, price is trying to support here. On the 15 minutes, we have the NWOG here as well. We took all the sell side liquidity here. Yeah, so far the NWOG was totally respected. 50% of the opening range was respected as well. Yeah, -2 standard deviation here as well from the early projection that we took on price. So price is now starting to react here. Let's see if we have any bullish reaction or if we will just followed by a bearish continuation. The 15-minute candle just closed as well. So price so far retraced from -2 standard deviation to -1, and it's starting to feel some resistance here. Let me just check the 2-minute here. Yeah, perfect retrace to this bearish fair value gap. So I guess we are probably heading lower. Yeah, 830 open served as a resistance here. Nice displacement to the downside. Yeah, we have a quick market today, honestly. So price stopped at minus 2.5 standard deviation once again. But watch how price did not close below the NWOG. So that's why I'm not rushing into anything here. This can eventually play out as something like a reversal type of play. So it can eventually serve as a continuation to the downside. But if price really comes once again here, uh, since we are approaching 950 macros, well, this can give us some type of a inversion. There we go. See, this is the type of price action that if we were chasing some type of shorts here until -4, at this point we would be praying for our stop not to get hit. So that's why I don't like to chase shorts. I would like to see something more clear without this type of displacement, of green displacement candles. Let me just check the, yeah, this is a 5 handle candle, so it's quite a large range here. So imagine that I was shorting. This would be a six handle stop. Yeah. So for 6 handles, yeah, I would be allowed to take 7 micros. Yeah, once again, we have some type of an SMT here in between ES and oops, in between ES and S&P, ES and NQ. I'm sorry. Price is taking some time here. NWOG is really holding here. Price is struggling to close above it, below it, I mean. But it will try once again here. We are already playing inside a macro. So this should eventually give us some direction, some decision. But sometimes the macro move will happen in the last minutes of this time window. So we just have to be patient here. So right now, price is playing inside this 15-minute fair value gap, not able to close above it. It's just struggling. It's right at 50% of the opening range gap. It's above this NWOG, so there are some PD arrays in some points that are holding price. But at this point, I would like to see if the bullish scenario is continuation. I would like to see some bullish reaction here. Otherwise, the bearish scenario might be in place. Still waiting here. Whenever we have a box like this, you can call it time distortion. And when price is in time distortion, it really has no intention to get out of here. Just like we saw here, it will just entice people just to get in. But as soon as it makes something enticing, it comes back inside the range. So the most logical thing here is to wait until we see something that's confirming the exit of this time distortion box. Otherwise, we can eventually be trapped here, just like a lot of sellers were trapped here. Let's see if it wants to come out of this box, or if it's just enticing some more peoples to short. So price trying to come out of the time distortion box. So far, we had a closure below it. We have midnight open right here below event horizon. So if we confirm this exit, and if we really lose the NWOG, I'm expecting event horizon to be the next drawn liquidity. And then eventually Asia lows. Yeah. Yeah, price really came out of the box, but as you can see, there's no follow through right now. Price is just taking some time here. Let me just check the 2 minutes and eventually 3 as well. Yeah, seems like we will have follow through here. It took a lot of time for price to do it. Yeah, but honestly, not the follow through that I would like to see. There's a lot of wicks here, not a wick here. Seems like NQ. No, I don't like how these weeks are presented here as well. So there's a lot of stops here, probably, and we might retrace to there just to take out these stops. Once again, we were not able to close effectively below 2.5 standard deviation. Midnight open served as a support. We hit 75% of the opening range gap. Yeah. It, it seems obvious for a short, but these conditions are kind of frustrating to short, honestly. So since this is the accumulation here, let's see if this is some type of a manipulation. And if so, and if price really comes above the NWOG once again, we might probably have an opportunity to go long to take out all these short seller stops, I believe. And Q reacting quite well. So at this point, we have this last bearish fair value gap inverted. We have a bullish one here. And yeah, we would have to look for some type of a breaker, and the breaker would be above this candle or eventually this one, but I would like to see something above this candle here. But let's see if this is really some type of accumulation here. If this is some type of manipulation, or if we will go lower, because if price wants to go lower, this should not hold. Let's just see. I might be wrong here because yeah, because things are not that obvious on NQ. But so far I'm not frustrated for not taking any shorts here. Here I would not take any short. It might be possible for me that I would have um, interacted with some shorts here, but I'm glad I didn't and decided to wait. So right now I would like to see some closure above this candle that would give me some type of change in the state of delivery or in the state of character, however you wanna call it. Yeah, NQ seems like to be the strongest, while ES is still struggling. Nice reaction here from ES. So it seems like price really wants to invert here. Once again, nice reaction. So we are coming back into the accumulation phase. So now let's see if we have the distribution phase. Seems like this was the accumulation, the manipulation phase, and now since we are inside the accumulation once again, I would like to see price coming a little bit higher. Let me just erase some of these schematics here. So yeah, NQ is the strongest one. Let's see if ES has some follow through, at least at 8:30 open. We are trying to re-enter the the 15-minute fair value gap. So taking a projection here for the last swing low. These are the levels. So we have some confluence here with CPI data highs. Yeah, I feel like my chart is a bit messy right now. So these data lows, I will take these. Yeah, price reacting here on the 15-minute fair value gap. It's retracing on a harsh way here. Yeah, definitely not liking how price is coming back to the manipulation zone. See if we can get above the NWOG once again, but at this point it doesn't seem like it because we displaced here lower. Yeah, at this point we have some SNTs in between the highs on NQ and DS. Let's see if we can get above once again, or if we are just retracing here just to come back down once again. Yeah, so far a nice reaction here. We are back inside the 15-minute fair value gap and trying to stay above that analog. Let's see if price holds for another run. Would like to see price coming above the midpoint of this 15-minute fair value gap. Yeah, definitely not liking how price is making lower lows. Um, price was not able to close above the midpoint of the 15-minute fair value gap. It's struggling to close above the NWOG as well. At this point, I will not give much more time to price. I'm expecting a close above the NWOG, and it's not offering me that. Yeah, really not liking it. And it got stopped out here. Yeah. So midnight open once again acting as a magnet here. And we have another rejection of the NWOG, another rejection on the 15-minute. Let's just see if we form a fair value gap here, and we might have the short entry for a continuation lower, because at this point I can't see anything um, as a inversion here. So at this point, I believe we will move to the next NWOG, or eventually at the event horizon. Yeah, it seems like seems like price is pushing once again. And Q is trying to get above, while ES is struggling to get above. It's kind of a symmetry in between ES and NQ right now. Yeah, and Q seems like ES wants lower prices, but NQ keeps pushing higher here. So we might have a dragged ES to the upside. So price is trying to make new lows here. Let's see if it holds. Event Horizon should give us some type of a resistance. Yeah, at this point I had to lower my exposure since I took a first loss. Then I have to cut my risk in half. So at this point, yes, making new lows while NQ is just mumbling around somewhere here, comparing to ES. Yeah, not liking how price just waking to the downside just to come back in the next couple of minutes. Let me just check how far we are from the next macro. So the next macro is in about 20 minutes. Let's see if we will have some type of follow through here since we are respecting this fair value gap here. So far, we are respecting this order block as well. This one right here. You're taking some time here for price to continue its way to the downside. Let's just see if there's any follow through here. Yeah, at this point, I would be content with Asia lows. But let me just check here the -5 where it stands and the -6. Yeah, the -5. Yeah, at this point, we had price touching midnight open, not being able to get above midnight open. So I believe that the next step would be eventually event horizon. And now I want to see these PD arrays, these bearish PD arrays being respected. Not they can be traded in, but I want to see them respected. Yeah, so far this one is being respected, but I would like to see another low, a new low. Thing that I'm not liking in this supposed run to the downside is that NQ is just accumulating. It's a it's like it's not a horizontal accumulation. It's like a diagonal accumulation, but yeah, it's really accumulating, and I would like to see that being broken to the downside. It might be happening right now, but I want to see more bearishness on NQ, honestly. Price is making relative equal lows, which usually is a good sign that we will continue to the downside. Just waiting for price to do its own thing here. There's nothing that we can eventually do besides waiting. So it's reaching for event horizon here. Would like to see it come a little bit lower. So the question is now if event horizon will act as a support like it did here, right on Asia, or if we will go a little bit lower and try to invade Asia lows. That's the real question right here. It seems like we all are already reacting to event horizon, but honestly, I would like to see event horizon being disrespected and an attack eventually to Asia lows, and as the ultimate target, the next NWOG. But yeah, for that to happen, it needs to come more aggressively to the downside here, just to disrespect event horizon. Let me just check the hourly. Yeah, we have a bullish fair value gap here on the hourly as well. It's it's still intact, but I would like to see it traded in at least just to take out this low and eventually this one as well. But yeah, we have a nice reaction here, big reaction on event horizon. We are 4 minutes away from the next macro as well. Yeah, price really reacted to event horizon here. It never came to -4 standard deviation, and yeah, we have an SMT as well on in between ES and NQ. So at this point, I would like to see this fair value gap be respected, and we start to trade down once again. Otherwise, uh, all these sellers will eventually be punished here. Let's just see if we have another run to the downside here, since we still have some liquidity to take here. As you can see, this run here, and eventually these lows on Asia. Yeah, NQ is trying to it's trying to um, push price a little bit further. Yes, trying to do something here at this fair value gap, but I would like to see it being traded down. This flat candle, it's kind of suspicious here as well. So I believe we still have some lower to go. We are now inside the macro, so it can eventually help us a bit with the lower perspective of market that we have. But I want to see event horizon being completely obliterated. I don't want to see a new bounce here. I want to see it being traded away. Now we took this liquidity here, and let's see if we can take Asia lows. I'm starting to like how NQ is heading down as well. It may give us some more purpose on the lower move here on ES as well. Now I just want to see event horizon being treated as resistance. Price can trade into it, but I don't want to see price use this event horizon as support. So I want to see it just acting as a resistance. So we'll just mark Asia lows. Not these ones, but yeah, these ones. So and I want to see them being traded. So sell side liquidity as Asia lows. This one goes right here to the top. And just let me check here something. So dividing by 4, yeah, 25%. If I take 3 out here, I would leave 25%. So instead of 3, so at this point, there is no need for us to have an open stop loss. Just let me check NQ. Yeah, but NQ is way far away from Asia lows, so it just might wait a little bit more. This fair value gap should be, it would be best to stay to stay open, to stay intact, but I'm not minding to see this being traded. So we are approaching here Asia lows. Let's just see if price can hit them. NQ is still holding the price here. NQ now pushing price to the downside here, which is a good sign. Yes, already reaching for Asia lows as well. And at this point, I will take okay. Took 3 out, so I'm back to break even. And now we'll just leave this runner just to see how far it can go. So yes, might react here since we took Asia lows already. Yeah, but NQ is way above Asia lows, so Yeah, it seems like we will go a little bit lower. Just let me check the hourly. So the hourly time frame. Yeah, if we are meant to go to the downside here, if price does not react here and does not um, start to race to the upside, we might follow this path to the downside, eventually taking out these inefficiencies here. We have this order block here that was just tested once. Yeah, we have some lower targets, but for that to happen, we need to stay bearish and not react here. On the 15-minute time frame, we can see that there is a fair value gap here as well. So yeah, at this point, we should wait. Let me just check the 2 minute and the 3 minute just to see if my stop is above the order block. Yeah. Yeah, I would not like to allow price to come right back to my break even, but it might happen. So let's see if this is an inversion here, or if price wants to come a little bit lower. I would like to see event horizon being respected, this fair value gap being respected as well. So the 5 minute, yeah, price is entering the 5 minute fair value gap here right after taking Asia lows. So we have to worry if price intends to invert this fair value gap. Otherwise, this is just a normal reaction. And we might see a further move down because, yeah, NQ is far away from Asia lows. Yeah, and the way that we purged Asia lows was kind of odd here, honestly. Price really reacting to Asia lows, coming back to this fair value gap that was not retested. It has some confluence with event horizon here. Let me just check here because I've seen where, yeah, so far the projection here is right on top, is right, is top notch, I would say. Yeah, this is a nice reaction from Asia lows. I'm glad I took the majority of the position. I took out 75%. I left out 25 running, a little bit more than I'm comfortable with. I usually try to leave a runner with a size of 10 to 15%. This was a 25% runner, but since I'm back to break even, I don't mind. This is a free position, honestly. So I'm willing to accept break even or eventually those 110 that are here to take profit. Price still trying to get above event horizon here, but as I said before, I would like to see this being treated as a resistance and not support. So if price really comes above it and stays above it, that would be not a good sign for our position. See, price is climbing. It's it's already above the event horizon, and it reached directly to the midpoint of this fair value gap. So if you look into the 15 minutes, we are we are drawing or building a engulfing 15-minute candle. So for a bearish continuation, I would like to see that candle to start failing and large red candle starting to be drawn here. If it doesn't, uh, then we might see a higher retrace. Yeah, let's see if we start to see that 15-minute candle to fail, or if we stay above event horizon, if we really stay above event horizon. So this might be a run to the upside. Yeah, on a 5 minute, my stop is right at the top of the order block. So I'm just allowing price to come touch the order block and eventually go back down. I don't want to see price climbing higher and reach for my break even status. we have still we have 1 minute or eventually 1 minute and a half just to this 15-minute candle closes, and as you can see already, it's building some support here at event horizon. So I'm presuming that we will probably um, get stopped out here at break even, but it is what it is. We already recovered today's drawdown, so let's just see if price really displaces down here. It would eventually consume about 50% of that engulfing 15-minute candle, so that would be a nice bearish signal. There we go. Now let's see if we can eventually hold the bearish momentum and see lower prices. yeah, so far looking at today's work, yeah, price open very heavy here, so one-sided heaviness price action. It kind of yeah, it kind of manipulated here. This was somehow a bullish manipulation here to the upside, but it was not that great as it was on NQ, because this manipulation took out CPI highs, while ES didn't. So this was some kind of a off manipulation. But yeah, as soon as it opened, we came back to the downside, and here I started to say that we would probably deliver to CPI data lows, and that what happened. Then price found some support here at, let me just take this out. Price just found some support and made some SMTs here. And I thought that, yeah, the breaker is almost done here. So, but no, it came a little bit lower in a way that I don't usually like price to deliver with these wicks and with no momentum. And as soon as we touched midnight open, we restarted to deliver higher. And this was when I thought, okay, we are inside the macro. We can eventually seek for higher prices. A lot of people is selling since the open. So these highs here and CPI data highs might be in risk. Tried the long here, but yeah, it didn't work, because price was never able to get above the NWOG, the new week opening gap. And yeah, we just placed lower, and then here it affirmed, it gave us the conviction that we were heading lower. So yeah, here I took the short. It started to deliver right away, and I had to be somehow patient here, because it was a nasty retrace. But as soon as it respected this fair value gap, price displaced lower, taking immediately Asia lows, and that's where I took my first partials. 70% of the 75% of the position was taken out here, right at the bottom. And yeah, then I just allowed price to retrace to a healthy place, which is this fair value gap. And if you look into the 5 minute, it's just respecting the order block and the 5 minute the fair value gap as well. So, and now I'm trying to wait for another run to the downside, since we still have this NWOG to be eventually touched once again. Since its formation, I don't think, yeah, since we exited from yesterday's price action, New York AM, we never came back to it. And since we are respecting event horizon and this NWOG as well, I presume that we will eventually come for the lower NWOG too. So this is what I'm expecting from price. But I know that since we already took Asia lows, it can be a signal of reversal as well. So I have to keep that in mind, and not try to be biased, you know, because if you look into the NQ chart, the 1 minute, all this run to the downside, it's a perfect low resistance liquidity run to the upside. So with just a small amount of fuel, it will eventually wipe out everybody who's selling right now. And yeah, it can eventually happen, and it would drag ES to the upside as well. taking us out of this position. On the other hand, I like how we closed the last 15-minute candle. It's just a flat candle. It has no wick to the downside. So whenever you have a candle like that, you can eventually expect to run into that type of highs or that type of lows whenever you have a flat no wick candle. So when Q, as you can see, is really testing price to the upside. It's really um, trying to push ES. And yeah, we are indeed pushing. The macro might offer us the reversal, but I don't see any type of reversal here just now. And yeah, at this point, it will be a break even day. But yeah, I'm content with it because because sometimes it can be hard to start with a loss, the day with a loss, and as soon as it hits the loss with your first position, your mood can change and your rationality can eventually change as well. But yeah, I just followed the plan and here we are back to break even. So yeah, guys, um, it's been about 2 hours of stream as well. The position will be closed here at break even. So I guess I will end the stream as well. As you can see, break even day here. The the positions that we took, they were not that bad, I suppose. This run here to the downside was the cleanest, honestly. But this one was, yeah, was not that good of a trade here. I should have waited a bit more. Eventually, should have waited for the displacement above this candle, which never happened. But yeah, it is what it is. And overall, it was a positive session, I guess. So not bad at all. So yeah, guys, I think that's it, really. There's nothing to do here. I now have a trade lockout, a trade a trade limit. So whenever I do 2 trades, I cannot do any more trades. So yeah, I have hit the 2 trades, and that's it for the day. I guess it's a healthy way to stay disciplined and to stay in the right course, I guess. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for being here. Break even day, but tomorrow it will be better, I guess. Thank you for being here. Thank you for interacting as well. And hope to see you tomorrow. Stay safe. Have a nice afternoon. And yeah, thank you.